Hello, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Normally, I try to stay out of the drama stuff, but this one is kind of, one might say, a guilty pleasure of mine, so please humor me. Though I guess it is kind of pertinent to gaming, as an example of the fact that the gaming industry's media portion is definitely on its way to some sort of failure. And there are people who sense the winds coming and are making changes for themselves. So now I initially saw this on Grum's feed. And you know me, I personally like to see the original tweet. So here we have Frost of Rivia, or at the other Frost. And he says, I have resigned from Second Wind Group. I'll say more later. But I do want people to know where their money and support is going in the meantime. And we will read this image. He says, when I joined Second Wind Group, I was under the assumption that we were forming a team of creatives with equal value and equal say. Individual creators would oversee their personal series, and the group would decide how to run the business together. It is plain as day that we have recreated the toxic corporate environment we abandoned, led by a petulant wannabe CEO who overspends, overpromises, underdelivers, sows division, tarnishes our image, asserts his creative vision, or rather creative blindness, and sabotages anyone's attempt to correct him, all while he fails his most basic duties, joyrides around the world, clout farms, and expects the community and Yahtzee to fit the bill because Nick Calandra tanks our YouTube revenue and makes us undesirable for sponsors. It is beyond incompetence. Nick Calandra operates in bad faith to serve his ego, and this group lacks the attitude and processes to appropriately deal with inaction and inability to deliver the core capabilities of our roles. The board of directors lacks a knowledgeable enough majority to see through even the most basic Google searchable errors in Nick's farcical directions and use their personal feelings as a substitute for information, even when presented with dumbed-down versions at their repeated request. The rest of the owners have little knowledge of what's going on, and I don't fault them, because that's the whole point of the culture of isolation. There aren't enough leads at once thinking there's a problem. The rest don't know of the problem. Therefore, there are no problems. All of my personal attempts to make Nick see reason are ignored. All of my attempts to make the leads aware of Nick's behavior are brushed off with minimal action. All of my attempts to raise concern for our systemic issues with leads are put off until after the problems occur. I refuse to be subjected to this behavior any longer. I believe I have done everything in my power to address the issues for over 6 months, and I want no part in preying on the community's goodwill and Yahtzee's hard work simply because we can't run a business. At this rate, we don't deserve to run a business. Consider this my formal resignation, effective immediately. Second Wind did respond to this, and you see, we're sorry that the other Frost has chosen to resign from Second Wind. He was a valued member of the team and will be greatly missed. We all hope he will continue to make great content such as Cold Take for his own channels. As a member of a co-op, he was always free to leave if he felt his goals did not align with the rest of the team, and we all wish him the best in his future endeavors.
Okay then, that was always allowed.
You do have some interesting responses. One person says Frost made some serious allegations that I don't think he would if he had no basis to do so. He said he had more to say in the future, hopefully with receipts to back them up. We'd love to hear your counterpoints to those. And you see this fellow says, Frost isn't wrong. I was one of those people who backed out of the Patreon because of Nick's behavior towards other creators he disapproved of, even before Nick locked down his own account to drum up false reports to shut down websites keeping track of his activities. Now, Frost was not the only person to resign. Here is Cisco Araneta, and I apologize if I mispronounced that. He says, critical support for at the other Frost. Today was my last day at Second Wind as well. All I can say is we exceeded sales goal every single month. Thank you to all the dope clients I've had the privilege of working with. Let's do it again soon. And his email and LinkedIn is in his bio. He Here in the comments, you see someone has posted, what the hell happened in the month and a half to go from crushing sponsorships to differing expectations, especially if, as you say, all sales goals were met. And additionally, we can see that indeed sponsorships were second only to the Patreon itself. Here's a tweet from Nick Calandra. Hey all, welcome Second Wind's head of sales, Cisco Araneta, to Twitter. He's been crushing it for us on the sponsorship side of things, and we want to get him connected with more industry folks. And this must be from the site or something. I'll have to see if I can find the source on this. Update on Frost and Cisco. This morning we let go of our head of sales, Cisco, as we had differing expectations for the job and the future direction of the company. And Second Wind revenue, quarter 2, 2024, April to June of 2024. You see here YouTube's basically $40,000. Twitch is just over $1,000. Patreon is $164,000. Wow. Merch is just over $1,000. Sponsorships are $69,000, basically $70,000. And donations. So while the sponsorship is definitely nowhere near as much as the Patreon, that's a lot of money. So here is their Patreon. It says, update on Frost and Cisco. This morning we let go of our head of sales, Cisco, as we had differing expectations for the job and future direction of the company. During the meeting, we discussed this with staff. Frost made the decision to resign, which came as a surprise to all of us, and he had made his post declaring how he felt about the situation at large. Frost had a different direction he saw the channel going in, including content viewership goals, revenue strategy, and management. While there were some initiatives that we agreed on and were implementing, ultimately, the vast majority of our team did not agree with Frost's direction as a whole. Our financials are public, so you know where our money is going and how it's coming in. We try to be transparent with you to hold ourselves accountable in situations like this. Obviously, there's other things he mentioned specifically about me in there, even some things that I agree with, like my social media use. Their team did their job to course correct me, frighteningly so, and in the past few weeks, I believe I've shown that I can grow and be a better partner in the co-op. We've been making internal changes to open lines of communication to make sure that issues are being addressed. We shifted some responsibilities within the company to make sure that everyone's voice is being heard. Second Wind team is not breaking up, and things will continue on as we navigate this. I'm truly sorry things didn't work out with Frost, and I personally wish both him and Cisco well in their future endeavors. And that was from Nick. So interestingly enough here, the comments here are kind of mixed. You have some who would like to see them address Frost's accusations more thoroughly. You have ones making recommendations in terms of how they should handle things. Ones that would like to see response from someone other than Nick. People who think Frost should come back. People who think that what Frost said was totally wrong and he's probably lying or whatever. People who don't care about the internal workings. All I really care about is the employees owns the company and reap the rewards of their labor rather than the entire enterprise being owned by do-nothing capitalist pigs. Someone doesn't understand capitalism, but we won't go into that today. And then this guy who says that since the specific claims aren't being addressed, that they're withdrawing their support. This one I find very interesting. I think it would be cool if there was a regular video by a woman. One track mind on that one. A bunch of people left previous company/site due to how things were handled. It shouldn't be surprised that less than a year later, people are doing the same thing. It was fun while it lasted. So definitely a mixed reaction over here on their Patreon. This is entertaining. If what you say is true, that it sounds like Nick wasn't mad about the escapist putting him under a boot because he hates being put under a boot. Nick was mad because he wanted to be the boot. Interesting. So of course, our dear friend Gigabear is over here causing his usual troubles. He stated at the beginning of this month that Nick should be removed as editor-in-chief. Then, of course, he responds that it's too late for that now. And in his usual style, he does his own criticisms. But the great thing about him is he very much tracks down and holds on to the receipts. Here you see where they staged a social media intervention for Nick. Thing that helped me get my team stepping in and really pushing me to stop. 2 is just remembering to be in the moment, watch a TV show, play a game, read a book, and just put the phone in another room. Got to break that need to be in the know. And that's Nick responding to breaking his social media issues. Now, as I am no good at using Patreon, I don't really use it for anything, so I don't know where to look for things. I'm going to lean on GigaBear here a little bit since he, like I said earlier, does an excellent job of collecting his receipts. This is a comment from Nick that was on the Patreon. Says, salaries are public within the team. We all know what we make, and Yahtzee, Omar, and I, as the highest earners, are not taking any raises from Second Wind now and in the future. Our goal, which we all agreed on at the start of Second Wind, is to bring over our salaries from the escapists and then bump everyone else up, plus made KC and Jesse G full-time. We've been following through on all those goals while remaining sustainable. And then a fellow says, you don't really want to become a next version of the company you quit, and then second one says agreed, and not the case here. Another person says, honestly, all I need is to see where people supporting Frost on Twitter know that he's the one in the right. If anything, I feel cheated by someone who apparently agrees with Grum's been part of the team, which makes no sense. Oh my god, someone agreed someone? Okay, who cares? And here's another comment that GigaBear found. As clarified on Discord, I have been off for the last month as the team intervened with me and made clear I would be fired, which I agreed with, if I did not rein myself in as I was spiraling mentally and hurting the business. This was addressed a month ago with the team, and I've made the necessary changes to resolve it. So, there was indeed some kind of intervention for Nick, trying to get him to cool his posting. Unsurprisingly, considering how he really was getting a little crazy. Just on the 31st, Nick had posted, think my social media detox is complete. Crazy how quickly this app can become addictive and lose your self-control of seeking it out when you get wrapped up in the drama of it. But took the time, put down the phone, muted and blocked what I needed, and recentered. My main purpose here is to find cool games to follow, share Second Wind updates, general thoughts on games and positivities, maybe some snark at corporate shenanigans too. Anyways, after a nice wedding last weekend and doc planning for the next week, feeling recharged. I will say I genuinely hope he has gotten over the posting issue he was having previously, but I'm going to say something must have happened behind the scenes that makes Frost and Cisco feel that that's not correct, and maybe the firing of Cisco had something to do with it, because that post does very much make it sound like he was fired, not that he was quitting in support of Frost. So there's an interesting conundrum right there. Which was it? Was he fired or did they quit? Questions, my friends. Now, this is just a singular, small, one might even call them independent games journalist outlet. But seeing them start to fall apart in this way, what you've been seeing in the general gaming industry, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just the beginning of more. We've already seen plenty of layoffs, Kotaku laying off all of Australia, and a bunch of other issues. Their money is going to be drying up fast. They can't take a lot of these issues that eat up goodwill. I am going to definitely be very interested in what Frost has to say regarding his leaving, and I hope he brings receipts. I do enjoy coming here and showing off the receipts with y'all. It entertains me. I enjoy the train wreck. I try not to involve myself in too much drama, but God, sometimes I just love watching it. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is a sign of more to come? Do you think they're just getting what they deserve? Or do you just not care and you really wish I wouldn't do this kind of video? These are all valid ways to feel, in my opinion. But comment down below and let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.